Hello, everybody. This is Sophia Mona Lisa of the Golden Ray Center and the Rose Wheel Mystery School. And so, welcome back. You're probably just as gobsmacked as I am to have found more pieces of this timeline that are running together. And so, the title of this video is For the Claim of the Divine Inheritance. And what I can see through this timeline, which you'll be able to follow that thread, what the tagline of the Rose Wheel Mystery School is: realizing your divine inheritance. And so really with this new Leo divine royalty goddess that's getting ready to come onto the world stage in just a few short months, everything that's happening on this timeline that I've just synchronistically tapped into is all about supporting humanity in their Christed self, to claim the divine inheritance that they are entitled to as Christed beings. So let's see what new pieces have revealed themselves to me. So as I mentioned, we've tapped into this timeline. And when I gave you my first look at this, it was about, I think it was 5 different cosmic events over a 4-month time span. Well, in this video, we're adding in 3 more significant events, and it's stretching this piece of the time span for this timeline from 4 months to over 7 months. As I said previously, this is just the piece I'm seeing. I'm going to have to keep an eye out for what may be coming down the pike on this timeline, or perhaps it'll be revealed to me if there were significant pieces that I could not see previously related to the timeline that jump back in here. And of course, one of the first events is exactly one of those events, something that I didn't see previously, but now I'm able to see it from a whole new, different perspective. And remember, we had that activation, like Venus Gate activation last month at the portal of perception. Recognize that we're still within that window of the portal of perception activation that takes place at the third eye. And so there is no doubt that the clarity around being able to see these pieces on this timeline is significantly, if not even fundamentally, related to the activation of this portal of perception. Okay, so the first piece that I gave you was the video that I posted on June 6th, just a couple of days ago. Today is June 8th, about igniting the sacred flame of your inner Christos Sophia. And of course, now I'm talking about for the claim of the divine inheritance. So this is the first piece that you need to see if you haven't seen it yet, and then come back to this video, because this video builds on the information presented. And today's video builds on the information presented in this one, igniting the sacred flame of your inner Christos Sophia. Okay, so here we go. In the video, igniting your sacred flame of the inner Christos Sophia, I talked about how the first piece of the timeline that I had been able to drop into was the Venus Gate activation that happened in February at the 6th strand of DNA coming online. Well, it turns out that March's Venus Gate activation is very much integrally tied into what was begun at the Venus Gate activation in February. So let's take a look at that. And if you haven't seen this video, you can go back to my YouTube channel, the Rose Wheel Mystery School, and look at the Galactic New Earth playlist. You'll find it there. Okay, so this is what was happening at the gate activation. Now, remember in February, The main gate activation was that Venus gate in Aries trining to Lilith in Leo, and then all of the supporting pieces that came up to infuse the moon Venus in Aries side of the trine, and all of the pieces that came up to infuse the Lilith and Leo side of the trine. Okay, so what we see here that I did not see previously is that this Venus gate activation, which is at 9 degrees of Taurus, but because it falls in between these other 4 luminary bodies, North Node, Maria as the as the mother aspect of Sophia, Juno as the goddess of sacred partnership, and Uranus as the cosmic liberator. It falls right in here between Juno and Uranus. So 5 degrees to this side of 9, we've got the North Node, the evolutionary GPS for humanity. We've got Maria, the mother aspect of Sophia, and we've got Juno, the goddess of sacred partnership. Then on the other side of the 9 degrees, we've got Uranus, the cosmic liberator, at 16 degrees. So this expands the circle, the sacred circle, so to speak, to include more of the luminary bodies and what they have to offer in terms of this preparation of the compassionate heart space for the coming quantum transplant in May of the sacred masculine, and in June, just 3 days ago, of the sacred feminine. And so what we see here is that this gate activation is squaring Lilith at 8 degrees of Leo. Remember, she was a part of the trine, that gate activation trine from Aries to Leo in February, the month before. And not only is it squaring Lilith, but the North Node, specifically in terms of these 6 luminary bodies, is creating a T-square with this North Node opposition to Yeshua in Taurus and Scorpio. Well, remember, in February, Lilith was standing at the root of that stem in a T-square to these same luminary bodies, North Node in Taurus and Yeshua in Scorpio. And so these 3 heavy hitters are very much a part of the 7th strand DNA activation that took place here at the gate of compassion, the heart chakra, in March. So what I can see now is that if you're having, again, going back to this example of a surgical procedure, which is what I keep being given, okay, before you take somebody into surgery and open them up, right, for open heart surgery, there's all this prep work that has to be done. And so February's gate activation was showing us the prep work. It was showing us what the prep work is all about, what it was happening here in terms of upgrading the electrical system of the Compassionate Heart Center to be able to receive the quantum transplants of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine, so that they're not being rejected by the body. But we know we're in the same operating theater because of this, the T-square effect, and because of Lilith in Leo, the compassionate heart space, the North Node and Yeshua opposition from Taurus to Scorpio. And so this is fascinating. I can't believe that I missed it the first time around, but I tend to get a little tunnel vision sometimes. And this is why it's important to expand the view, get the higher picture, which is what's been happening ever since I got that first piece. It's like, oh my gosh, now that the vision has been expanded, I can start to see all of these other pieces coming into play. And then what's fascinating is that the North Node Maria Juno piece of this very large conjunction from 4 degrees to 16 degrees, it's making a trine. And remember, a trine is a path of most allowance to Sarah in Capricorn. Sarah is all about the fact that our DNA is encoded with the message that we are Christed beings. And so she, as a way shower, as a wisdom keeper, is flowing her wisdom that she's been holding on to for humanity, because humanity forgot this piece of information about themselves when the lights went out, right? When the dark forces came in and turned everything off. So she's flowing that wisdom in here to the North Node, our evolutionary GPS, to Maria, the mother aspect of Sophia, and to Juno, the goddess of sacred partnership. And so what's happening here is that we are embodying, right, Taurus, we are embodying this relationship with this wisdom that Sarah is sharing with us, that we are genetically encoded, Christed beings. We are human and we are divine. And of course, Yeshua is helping as our embodiment of Christ consciousness to allow us to remember. When you have this opposition at the top of the T, they are funneling their energies to create something at a higher vibrational set point. But what they're creating in a T square goes to the base of the stem of the T. And so here we go. Lilith in the compassionate heart space, reclaiming sovereignty over the heart space as we bring in this forgotten wisdom that we are genetically coded as Christed beings. And so what's happening through this process, and what will continue to happen when I pull in these other pieces, is that the compassionate heart space, and it's in and of itself, through this electrical upgrade and then the quantum transplant of the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine, it is actually going through its own alchemy, where it's being transfigured from being the compassionate heart space to the divine heart space. This is absolutely incredible. So once again, here is this slide where we talk about the field of the compassionate heart that's getting this whole new electrical upgrade. And in the process of getting this electrical upgrade and the quantum transplants, it is becoming the divine heart. And of course, it has to become the divine heart because we're getting ready to have Leo, the divine royalty goddess, come onto the world stage. So let's look at some of that. All right. In the message from Medusa that we're going to be getting this month on June 25th, which will be live on June 25th. So if you're a member of my mailing list, if you've signed up to be on my, to receive my newsletter, you'll get that Zoom link to participate. We're having the 10th strand of DNA activation. As I mentioned in the previous video, igniting the sacred flame of your inner Christos Sophia, this Venus gate activation, which is actually happening on the 21st, the day of the solstice, we're not doing the ceremony until the 25th, is happening, at 14 degrees of Leo, 28 minutes. I mentioned in that previous timeline drop that this is just like, it's like within 30 minutes of being at the heart of Leo, which is very significant. The heart point of any astrological sign is very significant. So we're having this Venus gate activation on the day of the solstice. Those are two of the previously mentioned cosmic events that are a part of this timeline that I've discovered. But the piece that you need to know about this, which is relevant to the other pieces I'm going to share with you, is that this gate activation is happening at this 14, almost 14 and a half degrees of Leo. Leo representing this compassionate heart space that is becoming the divine heart. So remember, that's June 21st when that's happening. Okay. August 19th. This is when Venus rises as the Leo divine royalty goddess. She rises as morning star. Look at where she's rising. Almost 16 and a half degrees of Leo. Just 2 degrees on one side of this month's Venus gate activation, which is happening here at the crown chakra, the portal of authority. So fast forward from June 21st to August 19th, almost another 2 months down the road, just 2 degrees over is when she's rising as this Leo divine royalty goddess. Gets even better. Now notice that she's in retrograde here. This is what happens during the last part of the ascent journey and the metamorphic phase of this Venus synodic cycle. This is when she's retrograde for about 40 days. Okay. Then from August 19th to September 3rd, Venus will station direct. And where is she stationing direct? 12 degrees, 12 minutes Leo. So we have this month's Venus gate activation at the portal of authority at 14 and a half degrees Leo. She's going to rise as morning star at about 16 and a half. And when she stations direct, she's doing that at 12 degrees. 12, 14, 16. All of this happening within about 4 degrees of each other. This is highly significant, and I'm going to come back to it in a minute, but I want to point out while I'm here that when she stations direct, she is squaring Jupiter. Jupiter will be about 15 and a half degrees Taurus. Remember, we are in a master class with Jupiter as the cosmic guru, and the master class is how to amplify our embodiment, right? Taurus is all about embodiment, and he's sharing those teachings with our inner guru. And so this square is a 90-degree angle, is an opportunity for a breakthrough in consciousness in terms of how we can embody the divine heart, the compassionate heart that has been since February at the very least, been being alchemized and prepared to shift from compassionate heart to divine heart. And here we are at September 3rd, when Venus stations direct, having this incredible cosmic opportunity to now fully embody this divine heart, which is setting the stage for the entire 19-month Leo divine royalty goddess journey, the Venus synodic cycle of Leo. This is huge. Okay, so this is what I am recommending that each of you do. You need to go look at your charts, your natal charts and your solar return charts. And you want to find out what's going on in your natal and solar return charts at 12 degrees, 14 degrees, 16 degrees, right? Within that 4-degree window. And you know, you might want to push it out a couple of degrees to 18 on this side and maybe a couple of degrees to 10 on that side. 10 to 18, that's an 8-degree orb. Very responsible in terms of trying to look at what kind of luminary bodies in your charts could be activated by these 3 events. And look at what's happening. It's going here, it's going here, and then it's going there. I mean, it's just incredible, incredible, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is like its own little mini vision quest. What is it that you need to get from this part of your chart that you haven't remembered yet about who you are as a divine embodiment of source, as a human with a compassionate heart that is a divine Christed being with a divine heart? Look here to see what's going on. Now, if there isn't anything there or much there, not to be concerned. This is the playground. This is where it's happening. But there are some other areas that you can look to as well. You can look across the sky from Leo, and across the sky from Leo, which would create that opposition, is Aquarius. Look in that 10 to 18 degrees of Aquarius natal and solar return chart. See if anything's happening there. You can also, in terms of the Grand Cross that crosses over that Leo Aquarius axis, you can look to Taurus and Scorpio, right? So you could have T-squares, you could have oppositions, you could have Grand Cross. All of these are big shifts energetically in terms of what the effect and the manifestation is. So again, look at Leo, look at Aquarius, look at Taurus, and look at Scorpio in your natal and solar return charts from that 10 to 18 degrees, remembering that the key points are 12, 14, and 16 to see what's going on in your chart so that you can determine, you can discern how you personally, as an embodiment of the divine, is having your human compassionate heart being transfigured into this divine heart space. This is what they in the Catholic Church called the Sacred Heart of Jesus, right? This is what we as humanity are becoming and will be embodying. Okay, so here's the timeline that I've been speaking to. So these are all of the pieces from the previous video, igniting the sacred flame of your inner Christus Sophia, and the pieces in this video for the claim of the divine inheritance. So it starts in February at that Venus gate activation, that portal of personal power, which is the solar plexus chakra. That was the 6th strand of DNA. It continued the work that it prepared us for here in March at the portal of compassion, right? The heart chakra. That was the 7th strand of DNA. And then in May, we had that quantum transplant of the sacred masculine when Mars stepped across the sky from Pluto, Leo to Aquarius. And then in June, this month, just a few days ago, now we've had the quantum transplant of our sacred feminine when Venus stepped into that spot across the sky from Pluto. Remember, the fact that these 2 events are happening before Pluto makes its ingress back to Capricorn on June 11th, just 3 days from today, is highly significant. It's an intricate part of this cosmic dance. Then we've got the summer solstice coming up on June 21st, where I explained to you in my June Creative Energies video that harnessing the sun At the summer solstice is the perfect time to ignite the sacred flame of your inner Christos Sophia. And on that same day, we have the portal of authority, Venus gate activation happening here at the crown chakra, the 10th strand of DNA. August 19th, Venus rises as Leo goddess. And then September 3rd, Venus stations direct. And I've given you the points in Leo from this gate here, the portal of authority, to Venus rising as Leo goddess, to Venus stationing direct, right? Those are the 14, 16, 12 degree points of Leo that I'm recommending that you look at in Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio in your own natal and solar return charts. So here we've expanded this timeline and have found more pieces that are a part of this significant find. And again, this significant find, I believe, is directly related to the activation of the portal of perception at the third eye that happened last month in May. So I hope that this has been meaningful to you. As I discover more pieces, I will bring them to you. This gives us a whole new appreciation of what I've been speaking to as I've been sharing this slide, first in the month, the creative energies for June video, then in the igniting the sacred flame of your inner Christos Sophia video, and again here. This is the divine heart. Christ as divine will, the blue flame, Sophia as divine wisdom, the rose flame, and the manifestation of Christ and Sophia in sacred union, divine love, the gold flame. This is the divine heart. I didn't even see it when I chose this image to speak to when I did the June creative energies video back at the beginning of the month. But look at how all of this has started to become clearer and clearer in terms of why I was guided to include this information. It's just, for me, it's humbling. It's humbling, and I am in awe of the wisdom of Sophia, who is so patient with me to receive what it is that she's desiring to share with humanity through me. So I really want to thank you again for sticking with me through this second drop on this timeline that I've discovered. And as I said, any other pieces that show up, I will certainly share them with you here. So thank you very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.